What's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday, June 20th. Happy birthday, Mom. And we've got a fun dual slate today. 7 games in the morning on DK, 7 games at night. It's a nice, balanced, fun-filled MLB DFS slate. If you're playing on FanDuel, you only get 5 of those games for the morning, and you won't be as happy. Jake, how did your Tuesday shake out?
It was not the greatest. Pitching, well, the optimizer kind of messed me up, so I was a little salty about that. Didn't end up with as much Freddie Peralta as I would like. Didn't end up with as much sales I would like. So just like a technical blunder may have cost me a little bit, but that's all right. I didn't play normal volume anyways, so it was okay all in all. But I'm excited about these 2 slates.
Yeah, I like being able to play when I can play for the full day. If I play well on the morning slate, I'm like, all right, now we'll just translate that to the late slate. And if I play like shit, it's like, all right, I could wipe that away with the late slate. You find the silver lining in all of it.
Yeah.
So normally we go through the main slate first and then circle back, but we only have our early ownership projections up right now. So we're going to start with the early slate and then transition to the main slate once that stuff hopefully comes out. You ready to dive in?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Alrighty. Tigers and Reds, first game up. Tigers 4-run implied total, Reds 4.5. It's a 55% chance to win for the Reds. Michael Fulmer going for Detroit. Tyler Mahle going for Cincinnati. So am I crazy, or am I just absolutely mashing Tyler Mahle today for reasons I'm not entirely sure of?
I mean, so Mahle is much better against right-handed hitters from what I'm seeing, and so it makes sense if you want to play Mahle. I mean, he's 6,300. And are you talking about DraftKings or FanDuel that you're mashing him?
Well,
or both?
Let's say both, but we're projecting him for 34% ownership on DK, so apparently I'm not in the minority.
No, I mean, it makes sense. I get it. Like, only a few lefties, probably 3 lefties at the top of that lineup. So Martin, Candelario, and Goodrum. And, I mean, I respect Martin quite a bit as a hitter this year's, but outside of him, I'm not super scared of anyone, and Mahle can handle righties, so it makes sense. But if he's going to be that chalky, then I might have to rethink having much Mahle exposure at all, because the lefties can definitely get to him. He's got a 171 whip, 47% hard contact, and a 5 xFIP. So, I mean, he's good. I mean, he's okay against righties, but nothing special is how I would put it.
I cannot believe that he's 34% owned, but I guess he's like the way you can get Kluber 80% of the time.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that in a minute, but that's going to be kind of where the slate starts and probably ends for some people.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything, but Leonys Martin, big day yesterday. 3 for 3, a run, 2 RBI, and 2 walks. That's about as good as it's gonna get. So
he did, man. I had a bunch of Leonys.
Well,
I didn't see that.
He had a day on him, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
You gotta change him in your projections. He's good.
I'll take my chances. Yeah, so, I got 32% Tyler Mahle. We're projecting 34. I'm slightly uncomfortable with that conclusion.
Yeah.
It's just so much. But, like, he grades out. Like, it's not even the price thing that has me... I have him with the 2nd highest strikeout projection of the early slate.
Interesting. Yeah, there's not a lot of guys that have huge strikeout rates. I mean, I wouldn't say, like, it's Kluber, and then that's like all the guys are kind of bunched together after that for me. So
league average is 22%. I'm going to read off the projected rates for the Tigers. 24, 23, 23, 27, 26, 23, 12, and 31. And then the pitcher, who doesn't hit ever.
Yeah, so
Like,
I mean, you want to attack the Tigers with righties too, and they've even been bad against average righties. And he's an average righty. If you want to say below or above, like I wouldn't have an issue. So it makes sense. Like I get the play for sure. You're not crazy.
it bums me out that he's 34% owned, because I feel like I'm trying to justify it and like talk myself into being twice the field, but all I'm doing is being like, okay, well, this is why he's 34% owned.
Yeah.
I'm not getting anything out of it. I still don't feel good about it. But like, I'd feel so much better if he was 15 and I got 34. I'd be like, okay, all these Tigers guys just K a lot, roll the dice. That's not how this is working. I'm just trying to keep up. Terrifying.
Yeah.
What do you think of bats in this game?
Leonis Martin and Candelario and Goodrum. So probably those top four, especially if Molly's going to be this heavily owned, then I'll take some bats against him in quite a few lineups. For the Reds, we didn't really talk about Fulmer, but I'll probably have some of him as well. He's been fine the last couple starts, gone 7 innings in each of them, and he's got good stuff, but he's just like I'm kind of done trying to figure out when he's going to go through these stretches where he looks awesome and when he's going to stop missing bats for 5 starts in a row. So I'll have some of him. I'm not going crazy with Fulmer, but Votto and Barnhart would be the 2 guys I like against him.
Yeah, I don't have any Fulmer.
Wow, I didn't see the wind blowing out too. Oof.
Let's see. Yeah, I have no Fulmer. Tigers are my number 4 stack on FanDuel. They're 8th on DK, and I don't have much of the Reds. Apparently this game is just like lots of Tyler Mahle for me. But FanDuel pricing is super cheap for the Tigers. Like Martin, Candelario, Castellanos, 3,400, 3,200, 3,200. So if I'm going to some of the Tigers, they're a natural combination with Kluber, who's $3,000 more expensive than the second. Nope, 2,700 more than Stripling. So like, I'm getting to the Tigers, but I think it's only because of the expensive nature of Corey Kluber.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think I'm going a little bit different. So my analysis might be different on this slate as a whole.
Yeah, well, I don't have a ton of Kluber. Well, I mean, like, I have a lot of Kluber, but I don't have the 80% that we're projecting right now. I'm in the 30s. Yeah. So I think you and I will be in a more similar spot compared to the ownership.
Yeah, agreed.
Alrighty, that's probably enough on this game. It's like my least favorite game of everything, so move on.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Braves and Blue Jays. Braves 3.8 run implied total. Blue Jays 4.7. It's a 59% chance to win for the Jays. Anibal Sanchez going for Atlanta. J.A. Happ going for Toronto. We're projecting like no ownership for J.A. Happ, which I find
and Sanchez
surprising. Yeah, I guess the Sanchez one is just as crazy. So yeah. I had a little bit more Happ, obviously, because I have way less Kluber. I like having both of these guys, particularly J.A. Happ. What are you thinking about here? Do you like Happ as a Kluber fade?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to Kluber, or if you're not going to Kluber, you got to spend the salary somewhere. So I don't think it's a good matchup for Happ, but I think in general he's pretty safe. So if you're going with Kluber, he could get you 20 points here or something. And if you're not playing Kluber, you got to hope that he gets under 20 or something crazy happens. So Happ would be the logical pivot, unless you just want to pay up for every single bat and pay down for both pitchers. So I don't love Happ's matchup. The Braves are tough against both sides, but lefties especially, I have them as a top 3 team against lefties. So it's tough, but I'll have some Happ for sure.
Yeah, I got 23% of them, and we're projecting 1 on DK. I don't even know how to reconcile that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to have to up my individual Kluber exposure. If we're projecting, you know, anywhere north of 70, I can't come in at 30. That's going to be way too low. But I'm going to be way over the field on Happ and Sanchez. But Happ in particular, I think, has just a better spot. Braves only a 3.8 run implied total. That's kind of tricky to deal with.
The problem, the thing I worry about with Happ is the upside. So the strikeout matchup kind of sucks. The only person who strikes out above 20% is, well, Freddie Freeman, just a touch over 20, and then Dansby Swanson at 32. But other than that, we're seeing like 18, 15, 17, 16 against lefties. This is So I don't know. It's just tough. Like, I want to pivot to Happ, but I wish there was more strikeout upside.
I completely agree with you. Like, I have Happ with the 5th highest projected total, behind Stripling, behind your boy Lester, and behind Tyler Mahle, which is hilarious to think about in the gap in their pricing. I also might be projecting Tyler Mahle to throw too many innings, but it's neither here nor there. Oh yeah, for sure. Dial that back a little bit.
Hey, do you want to share your screen with me?
God,
I just know.
fucking day.
It's been a rough week for that, but we'll bounce back.
There you go. I
got to catch it before we go on anyways, so it's my fault too.
Yeah, I'll blame you. That's easier. What do you think of Blue Jays bats? Because they're my number 2 stack right now, and they are hella chalky. They're the chalk stack of the early slate on both sides, particularly on FanDuel, where we're projecting double the ownership of any other team.
Dude, I don't get why. I mean, the run total's fine, but Sanchez has been good. Like, he's been actually, I guess, but he's been actually good. So Granderson and Smoke are just too cheap, and Russell Martin's too cheap. So it's not. I'm not saying that Sanchez, you like can't target against him, but he, like, what does he get? 16% hard contact against righties this year. Kind of a short sample, but xFIP is way down, and then striking out a bunch of lefties. His BABIP is low, so he's got some regression coming. He's not going to be this good, where he's going like 7 innings and 6 strikeouts. But if he's on his game, he could shut this team down. And I'm actually interested in using him kind of at that price and ownership. So I get targeting the Blue Jays bats. I get Granderson, Smoke, Solarte especially. But I'm not going crazy with them. What do you think? You have them as your number 2 stack, so you're higher than me.
Yeah, I'm going to have quite a bit of them. It's hard not to. Again, their pricing is just so low. Like FanDuel, Granderson's 3,100. Smoke is 2,900. Like Russell Martin is 2,200. Some of these guys you just can't avoid, especially with like expensive pitching. So if you're going up to Kluber. The interesting thing to me, and what I think needs to happen here, I don't generally advocate my Braves, but if the Blue Jays hitters are going to be, 23% of the aggregate ownership on FanDuel or the chalk stack on DK, Anibal Sanchez needs to be owned more than 1% of the time.
Right? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, man. He's been good.
He's an ultimate, like, you got to hedge pitch Sanchez here if the Blue Jays are going to have that much ownership.
And even when he's been,
I have a bunch of Anibal Sanchez.
Even when he's been like a gas can before, he's had these stretches where he has 3 or 4 good starts in a row. That's not to say he couldn't blow up here, because he absolutely could, but he's done it in some kind of tough matchups this year. He's faced the Mets, the Nationals, Dodgers, and then the last one was against the Padres. So his last 4 starts, besides that, the Padres start, which is a pretty soft matchup, those aren't easy matchups for a righty. So I don't know, kind of respect what he's done, kind of want to use Anibal Sanchez for 7K.
I'm with you. I'm going to end up having a bunch of Sanchez to offset the Blue Jays ownership, and I'll be very happy with that.
Yeah.
I love all of the Blue Jays bats for the most part. I like Albies Swanson at the top of the Braves lineup. That's probably the extent of like my super interest in the Braves. If
None
we're
of
not
the catchers?
projecting Hap for any real ownership, I'm going to stick with my lack of Braves.
No catchers? Flowers and Suzuki?
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, I love them against lefties. So I'll have a bunch of each of them. I hope they just make it easy, actually. Like, I was asking for both of them to be in the lineup, but now they're the same position and same price. And now I'm always going to choose the wrong one, I feel like.
Yeah, that doesn't help matters. You have to run one with Flowers, one with Suzuki, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, my recommendation, get Anibal Sanchez in your lineups if you want to try to hedge those Blue Jays.
Mm-hmm.
All right, anything else here?
No, I think that's about it.
We've put out a refresh to that early ownership, so let me grab it now in case we looked at it and realized that it was fucking wacky.
So Kluber bumped down a little bit.
Makes sense.
But still mega chalk and Molly. So they must have we must have left someone out.
God damn it, I went to the main slate from yesterday. I was like, dude, now Verlander's here?
Yeah, back-to-back starts. He's going Sergio Romo.
Okay, only 70% Kluber. That's more rational.
Still a ton.
Oh, it's so much. Preposterous levels of Kluber.
Yeah.
Alright, that looks a little bit better now. There we go. Okay, that brought down the Blue Jays' love a little bit on DK. I mean, they're still the chalk stack, but it's not as outlandish. They're 26% of the aggregate ownership on FanDuel. 1 out of every 4 guys in a lineup is a Blue Jay. The next closest team is the Tigers at 15. It's fucking nuts.
That's kind of crazy.
Okay, well, did Sanchez move at all? No, it's still 1%. And Hap is 5%. So, yeah, you have to go to Sanchez. That's it.
I mean, yeah.
Just making sure nothing changed from everything we just said by refreshing those ownership projections. All right, Cardinals and Phillies. Cardinals 4.3 run implied total. Phillies 4.6. It's a 53% chance to win for the Phils. Michael Wacha going for St. Louis. Jake Arrieta going for the Phillies. Now here's my opposite side of this game, I guess. I got no Arrieta, and we're projecting 20%.
Yeah. I mean, I get the Arrieta play just because. So Arrieta is kind of weird for me. He's not missing any bats, but he kind of is because he's not giving up any hard contact. It seems like one of the lowest rates in the league. And he's going to get 7 righties, right? Cardinals super righty heavy. They can't really roll out a lefty heavy lineup if they tried. So Arrieta is going to have favorable matchups in this game as long as he can limit the power, which he's done all year. So I guess I like Arrieta. I'm never excited about using him in this form. And he's always been good against righties. Like he's never had a big issue with righties. So I don't know, he makes sense here, despite what I think is very minimal upside.
Sorry, Dwight Howard got traded to the Nets for Timofey Mozgov.
Really?
As you were talking.
Ooh.
I'm with
Mozgov?
you on Arrieta, though. This is a weird-ass trade.
Why Mozgov? I didn't even know he's in the league still.
It's a salary dump for I don't know who. 'Cause I think this is Howard's last season on his contract. I could be wrong though.
That sounds.
I mean, it's a nothing trade between 2 nothing teams. So
Mozgov signed like a 5-year, $60 million deal, didn't he? Like a few years ago.
He signed a big one in 2016, summer of 2016. He's already been traded twice since then.
Good for that guy cashing in.
Yeah. I'll have to dig into that a little bit later. Yeah. I don't know why we're getting to 20% Arrieta. That's a lot.
I don't think it's. I mean, where else are you gonna go? That's what I keep asking myself.
I'd rather
I'm like,
have
I
Frankie
don't like.
Montas than Arrieta.
I mean, I can't really say like, no, you're an idiot for that, but I mean, I just don't know. This pitching slate sucks again, so it's just tough. I mean, I don't. These guys are so close together in everything that I'm looking at. So if someone has a strong opinion, then take your guy, I guess.
It's just so much. Like 20% Arrieta against a good team. That's too much, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I got none. Like, not even just like, I got like 2%. He didn't come up at all. And there's randomness involved in that, too. That's really tough. So, I expect to be way under the field on Arrieta. Cardinals are my number 3 stack on DK. I'm over the field there. So, I guess I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get that. If Arrieta is going to be the second or third or fourth most owned pitcher on the slate, then absolutely get some Cardinals bats. The problem is it's just hard for me to overlook the contact he's giving up. On the year he's at, let's see. On the year he is at, come on, Fangraphs. 26%. Yeah, 26% hard contact. And a lot of it's like medium and soft, like 54% medium contact. His whip is pretty low. It just doesn't seem like he's been getting blown up.
Yeah, I'm all over this game in like the weirdest possible ways. Cardinals on DK, Phillies on FanDuel, neither of the pitchers. I didn't see that one coming.
I like the Phillies. Waka's the complete opposite. 44% hard contact to righties, 42 to lefties. And he can strike guys out at times, but Carlos Santana really sticks out to me. And then Nick Williams, I like. Rhys Hoskins is Rhys Hoskins. And then Cesar Hernandez and Herrera. So I'm with you on the Phillies stack.
I'm neutral with them on DK. We're projecting them to be the 3rd most chalky stack, but I actually have them 6th. So while I'm neutral with the field, I'm still kind of average on them overall. Carpenter Pham Ozuna is what I'm pounding the most on DK from the Cardinal side. Molina as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
I like
Phillies on FanDuel is Hernandez, Hoskins, Santana, and Franco.
Okay. That's kind of where I'm at, besides Franco. But
Altherr is only 2,400 on FanDuel. I'm getting him quite a bit too, but my ownership will get muted.
So Alther's back for Nick Williams. Is that right? That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I have Altherr in the 6th spot.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I like Altherr.
Any interest in Michael Wacha? We've got 11% on him right now, but I don't see it.
No interest in Wacha.
Okay, cool. Same page. Ooh, this one's brutal. This should be an interesting conversation. White Sox and Indians. White Sox, 2.7 run implied total. Indians, 4.8. 73% chance to win for the Indians. Ronaldo Lopez going for Chicago. Corey Kluber going for Cleveland. Kluber is, without question, the chalk pitcher of the early slate. 50% expected ownership on FanDuel. 70% expected ownership on DK. Indians are the 2nd highest owned stack on DraftKings. They are somewhere in the 3rd or 4th range on FanDuel. It's all Indians for me. They're my number 1 stack on both sites. Actually, number 2 on both sites. I don't know why that's showing up like that. Oh, no. I wrote up the main slate. I was like, oh, no, I know it's the Nats, but this is an entirely different group of games altogether. Indians are my number 1 stack. Kluber's the number 1 pitcher. Is there anything to add here?
I mean, so Kluber, I'm a little worried about him just because his velocity was down. in his last start against the Twins. He only went 5 innings, and so the velocity was down on the fastball, sinker, and slider by like 2 miles per hour, which is definitely something. It could have just been whatever, he didn't feel great that day, and that happens sometimes. Just had a rough start, but kind of worried about him and don't want to play him at 70% chalk. So I don't know. I mean, are you gonna eat the, like, it's just so hard. You either have to like go in 100% basically, or like get 20% exposure. But if he goes off, you're crushed if you play 20% of him.
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no limit to the amount of Kluber that I can take. I just need to figure out sort of how much I want. Because I can realistically get to 70%, and I don't think it's crazy. I've got him projected for 30.7 DK points. Number 2 for me is Lester at 18.7, so that's a full 12 points. I mean, for Lester to get to 30, that's what I'm projecting Kluber at in general. So, like, even the simplest Kluber game becomes like part of the top end of this. So I get it. I mean, I think I'm going to end up probably in like the 50% range, which is terrifying.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be well under the field, and I don't know, like, I can't really like leverage the field. It's hard. Like, you can play Moncada, you can play Polka. Anytime you can leverage 70% chalk, it's pretty appealing to me. So, especially in baseball. So, I don't know. I mean, I'll probably mix in some of these White Sox guys, but I'm not going to feel great about it, even if Kluber isn't 100%.
We've got 2% aggregate ownership on the White Sox. So you can do basically 3 lines of White Sox if you're playing a bunch and be good to go. But they are unplayable in like single entry options.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are you at on Indians bats? Because I'm crushing them.
Me too. They have to be the top stack of the early slate, I think. Just Reynaldo Lopez cannot get lefties out. Can't strike them out. Giving up a bunch of fly balls. And the Indians are better at home, and it's just a really tough top 6 at least. So
that's where I jump off. Although I got a lot of Kipnis on FanDuel. Yeah,
Kipnis is a weird one for me. I always leave him out of the stack, but I'm never that disappointed. Besides the other day, I think he hit a home run. But
yeah, I'm just Lindor, Brantley, Jose Ramirez, Yonder Alonso, Lonnie Chisenhall, Encarnacion to a degree for me. It's just so hard to go to Encarnacion when Alonso is there at $1,100 cheaper, especially on a day where you need to pay up for Corey Kluber. Every dollar counts.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's all Indians for me across the board. Whether or not that shakes out well for Kluber, who knows? But weather issues for this game. Is anything going on that's funky?
Wait, who's saying? Someone in the chat saying weather issues?
Yeah, the only game that has real weather issues in the morning, I think, are the Tigers and Reds. I think it's still fine.
Yeah, I don't see a ton of weather issues.
That's nothing like. I don't see anything crazy. It could just be a little wet.
Okay.
I wish I had something like fascinating to say about Kluber, but it's just he has to be played in some fashion.
Well, that's the only hole I can poke in him is the velocity thing. So.
That's real. Ugh, what a slate. What a slate. All right, let's move on. Dodgers and Cubs. Dodgers 3.4 run implied total. Cubs 3.6. This line wasn't out, so let me just double check to see if it's there. I went with a pretty low estimated total, and I almost nailed it. Came out at 7. I had it at 7, but it's shading a little higher. 52% chance to win for the Cubbies. Ross Stripling going for LA. John Lester going for Chicago. I have a lot of both of these guys, and that's because I'm way lower on Kluber. Just needed to give the salary somewhere. Jake's going to hate John Lester because he hates the Cubs. What do you think of Ross Stripling?
Stripling, he looks amazing. If you look at like his season numbers, 269 xFIP, a little over 1 WHIP, 30% K rate, and he's just going through, like running through every team he's facing. So I like the wind blowing in for him. I don't like the Cubs matchup that much, but the weather will help in Wrigley. So he's fine for me. And then Lester's also fine.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have to get exposure somewhere else if I'm not getting Kluber. So I don't know. I'll probably have some Lester, but I don't like it. It's just a weather thing. And a total. And I guess I'm just putting my faith in Vegas because I'm not going to play that much Kluber. So.
I get it. Yeah, like I got 30% of Lester and Stripling. We only have them at 13 and 14 respectively, so I'll be doubled up on these guys, or at least pretty close to it. And I'm happy about that, I guess. They have the 2 best projections outside of Kluber, so I think I got to take that sort of shot.
Yeah.
I mean, would you, like in a vacuum, would you rather have Kluber and Ronaldo Lopez or Stripling and Lester?
So that again, Kluber.
Okay, so let's say Stripling and Lester are 18-3, so that would be somewhere in the 7 and change range. Would you rather have Kluber and, let's say, Anibal Sanchez or Stripling and Lester?
I'd probably go Sanchez and Kluber, but
okay,
the other pairing is going to be way less owned. So
yeah, it's crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Actually, will it be less owned? 14 times 3.
I would think so.
So that's 1. What do we have Kluber at? 70, right?
Yeah.
And Anibal Sanchez at 1.
Oh yeah, I guess. I mean, but
I'll just say 2. It's basically equal.
Okay.
Somewhere in the 1.5% combo range. Nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to end up with Stripling and Lester. What do you think about bats? Not really the game for me here. Especially the Cubs.
Yeah, I'm not all that interested in either side. So Stripling's just been awesome, and Lester in this weather can pitch fine, even against a bunch of righties. So I'm not crazy about it, either side.
Dodgers are pretty popular.
Really?
They are 4th in aggregate ownership right now. I have them 10th. I basically got none of them. So a little bit of a disconnect there. If they're going to be that owned, I'm even happier about my Lester ownership.
Yeah.
I feel like today is just shaking out to be this gigantic over and over hedge stack or hedge pitcher day, because we're sort of like weirdly on the opposite side of the public. I don't know if I'm happy about that or not. I guess we'll find out, I don't know, around 4 o'clock when all these tournaments shake out. Any bats you want to touch on here? I think I need to talk about Kike being 2,600 on FanDuel, because I get 21% of him.
Yeah, that's cheap.
Yeah, he's an excellent one-off bat today, in my opinion. Hitting second, 2,600 on FanDuel. We're projecting 4% ownership, so like you can get a one-off bat that's relatively unique. Grades out really well for me. Just really cost efficient, especially on a day where you're trying to pinch pennies.
Yeah.
Only other guys that I have in double digits are Puig on FanDuel and Logan Forsythe on FanDuel. Forsythe projected to be the chalk second baseman on FanDuel. 20% ownership.
Yeah.
That's weird, man. Weird game. Alrighty, sorry FanDuel peeps, but you don't get to play along for these next two. A's and Padres. A's 3.9 run implied total. Padres 4.3. It's a 54% chance to win for the Padres. Frankie Montas going for Oakland. Joey Lucchesi going for San Diego. I nailed Lucchesi. 20. That sounds weird. Don't cut that out and use it against me. 20% projected ownership for Lucchesi. That's what I got. I also have a little bit of Frankie Montas. I'll probably end up with a little bit more Frankie once I bump my Kluber exposure up, but I don't know. It's just getting two pitchers that throw in Petco. I don't have a huge interest in either of the bats. We're not projecting all that much ownership to either of these teams either. It's mostly just Lucchesi, which not something you say every day. I didn't know I was playing a turbo slate and Joey Lucchesi was going to be 20% owned.
Yeah, Lucchesi makes a lot of sense, actually. So I thought this was going to be Tyson Ross last night, and I'm actually kind of excited that it's Lucchesi now. So he's another nice pivot for me. Just a guy that can miss bats, and then let me search here. The A's are striking out a ton against lefties over the last month or so, and for the whole year they've been pretty bad against lefties. 26% K rate, and then a 60 WRC plus over the last month against lefties, which is pretty terrible.
That's bad.
Yeah, not walking either, and Lucchesi's been good. Was he hurt, or did he get? He didn't get sent down, did he?
What do you mean? Oh, I have no idea. It didn't even cross my mind. I feel like we haven't said his name in a while, though.
Yeah. I haven't heard of him for like a month. He's not on the active roster.
Back from injury.
Okay. So pitch count could be an issue. I guess we can... Did he have a rehab start?
I don't know. It was a hip strain.
Okay. I'll look on Baseball Reference.
I'm trying to beat you to it. He did. He threw 4 innings in high A on June 14th.
June 14th.
6
Okay,
Ks, no walks. Only faced 13 batters, so he was cruising. No hits.
All right.
As far as rehab starts go, that went about as well as it could, but he was also throwing in high A, so it also should go well.
43. Man, that's tough. I mean, what do you think like his pitch count could be? Because unless they were just limiting him at 4 innings and they said you're just throwing 4 and that's it, but
I mean, he was cruising in a no-hitter, so I'm going to say that 4 innings was just all he was supposed to throw in that game.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
Yeah.
You don't take a lot of guys out with 6 Ks, no hits, no walks. He's throwing a... Oh, he hit a dude. I was going to say, he's throwing a damn perfect game.
Yeah.
Even in high A, on a rehab start, like, you want to keep that shit going. So I would guess 4 innings was just like he was never going back out there for the 5th.
Right. So that's a little worrisome because they only threw 43. Probably could have thrown a bunch more, but they're kind of babying him. So, which I would too.
I see no reason he doesn't throw 80 pitches today if it's going well. So,
I hope so. And then you like Montas, right?
I got 5% of him. We're projecting 9, but I like Montas if Tyler Mahle is going to be 30% owned.
Right. It makes for a fine pivot. I'm not a big believer in Mahle.
I don't think we need 3-to-1 ownership Molly to Montas, no matter how much I like Molly.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'll take Hosmer and Pirella and Renfroe, and then Galvis too. Galvis has been good. He's got a 40% hard hit rate this year against righties, which I was surprised to see, but he's popping up a little bit in my model lately, and he's 3,600. I don't think anybody's going to play him, but I'll have some Freddie Galvis.
I don't want too much Padres, especially if Montas isn't going to be that owned. I just don't love having anybody in Petco. Low total. The team that I would want to actually have is probably the A's if Lucchesi's going to be 20%. But I'm really not getting much of anything from the bat side. I only have 4% aggregate ownership for the Padres and 3 for the A's. So they're like 9th and 11th for me. It's kind of just the pitching here.
Okay.
I like Semien, I guess, as like a option from the A's. And apparently Chris Davis, who I have a ton of, but he's crazy expensive.
Yeah.
5,000 for Chris Davis.
That is very expensive. And it's weird because no one else on his team is over 4,100, and then he's just randomly 5K.
Has he been playing really well?
Let's see. No. He's been striking out a lot. I mean, he had
big slugging.
A couple. Yeah.
I didn't know he had 20 dongs.
Yeah, man, that's what he does.
Right, but I didn't realize he had 20. I feel like
I've
never had him for any of those somehow.
Yeah.
All right, final game of the early slate. Marlins and Giants. Marlins 3.7 run implied total. Giants 4.2. It's 55% chance to win. Jose Urena going for Miami. Derek Holland for San Francisco. This one's not a pitching game for me. I have I guess I have more than the field of Holland, but minimal amounts of Holland, minimal amounts of Urena. Giants are my 4th most owned stack. I'm doubled up on the field there. Marlins are 5th for me. I'm over the field as well. I'm grabbing bats here. What about you? You grabbing Urena?
I'm probably playing some Urena just as a pivot. Just getting a lot of chases, whiff rate up, swinging strike rate up over his last few starts, and then hopefully he gets 6 righties here. I'd feel better about playing him. I'm saying 5 in, and then Holland is a switch hitter, so I don't know. I'm not too worried about him. So 5 righties plus the pitcher is a pretty decent matchup for Urena. I don't know. It's just a terrible pitching slate, so might as well take some low-owned pitchers that I don't like instead of some highly owned ones that I don't like.
Braves lineup is out, and Flowers is not in it.
Yeah. There we go. So that makes it easy. Kurt Suzuki.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about getting that wrong. I'm going to add that in here just in case. Let's close that out. Come on. There we go. Do we want to look at a crunch quick before we head over to the main slate?
Sure.
All right, give me 2 pitchers. Do we want to look Kluber plus, or do we want to go on the fade Kluber train?
Let's try the Kluber train. Let's try it.
Alrighty. Come on, Fantasy Cruncher. You got this. Rub the old monitor a little bit, make it go faster. It's really crazy to me. I'm starting to think it's my computer, which it shouldn't be, but neither here nor there. I mean, it's just like, oh, Tigers lineup is out. I think it's the same.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly what we had.
Alrighty, give me someone to go with Kluber.
Let's go with your buddy Tyler Mahle.
Alrighty.
See how that works.
So this is what the chalk pairing looks like. How does a 5-man Indian stack with a 3-man Marlins stack treat you?
I like it. Oh, I didn't mention, I like the Marlins bats. Those top 3, just the guys that I always like against lefties. So
yeah, I like them quite a bit. I like the top 4, Maben as well.
Yeah, Maven's fine. Brinson's fine as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just wanted to mention that.
White Sox lineup is out as well.
Oh yeah.
It's lots of Indians with this Kluber Mahle pairing, and it's like good parts of the Indians. I like this third lineup right here: Alonso, Kipnis, Lindor, Brantley, Chisenhall, Granderson, Solarte, Russell, Martin.
So it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense why Mahle's so chalky, but Urena's $200 more expensive, and Anibal Sanchez is a little bit more expensive, but there's other guys you can pivot to if you don't want to play the Tyler Mahle chalk.
Speaking of, I want to take one look at something, maybe like a J.A. Happ plus Sanchez, maybe? Since nobody's really looking in that direction. Well, that won't work. I don't want them. Well, I do have a couple of them going against each other, but wow, Happ lineups are just so much lower from a grand total perspective. So like the top 2 projected J.A. Happ lineups that I have are projected for 105 points. But the top lineups that I have for Kluber are 115. So he is driving like a 10% difference in expected value. That's a lot, man. You don't see a drop off that much, but there's not enough bats to make up for the gap between Kluber and everybody else. Yeah, I think I'm going to end up going to like 60% Kluber.
Okay. Yeah, I just can't get to it. I don't know, I'm always looking for a reason to fade that kind of chalk, so.
I hear you. All right, let's open up the main slate, Doc, and we'll take a look there. Wild early slate. Are you playing it at all? Like,
yeah, I think I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, I've got a bunch in right now. I'm on Microsoft Excel. Yeah, today might be well, if Kluber doesn't go well, today will be a day where you leave salary on the table.
Right.
All right, I'm going to intro the Brewers and Pirates game. We're going to get you to... Do we have the main slate ownership yet? Oh, we do.
We do?
We do. Just went up 10 minutes ago. So I'm going to grab that and dump that in. I'm going to introduce this game, and then I am going to use the bathroom quickly. Because I've had way too much coffee. Not that anybody gives a shit about everything I just said. Alright, FanDuel ownership in. And Jesus, that's so much Charlie Morton. DK in. Alrighty. Brewers and Pirates. Brewers 4.3 run implied total. Pirates 4.1. It's a 52% chance to win for the Brew Crew. Fix that monitor. There we go. Brent Suter going for Milwaukee. Chad Kuhl going for Pittsburgh. Kuhl pretty chalky. 25% projected ownership on DK. Suter 13%. I actually have more than the field on both of these guys. So talk to the chat about how much you like Chad Kuhl tonight.
No, I don't like Chad Kuhl. Lefties are squaring him up this year. He's got a 41% hard hit rate, and then the line drive percentage is way up, 24%. Not creating a lot of soft contact. So right off the bat, and there are some weather concerns for this game, but assuming this one is able to go, and I haven't looked what the radar looks like, but assuming it's able to go, Shaw and Yelich and Thames are near the top of my list. I like the Brewers as a full stack. I like VR in the 6th spot with speed and power. He's got some power. I think he's got 10 stolen bases this year, so you can definitely steal on Chad Kuhl. And yeah, I really like this Brewers stack. Suter on the other side. He's just, I think I mentioned it last couple times he's pitched, but he's just really annoying to stack against. He just goes kind of like 5 innings and strikes out a couple guys and gives up a couple runs, but he never seems to have that big blow-up outing where he's out in 2 innings or something and gives up 6 runs. So I don't know. I mean, I don't like Suter to play him, but I don't really want to stack against him either. So I don't know. Josh, are you back?
Do you want to? Here.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a lot of Suter, like more than twice the field Suter.
Yeah.
That's I'm not gonna maintain that, mostly because we're not projecting a lot of Pirates bats ownership, so there's no need for me to go that crazy on Suter if it's not that big of a hedge. I am pretty over the field on the Brewers though. Going against the Chad Kuhl ownership, so I think that'll be the way that I make my bed here. I'm still going to have a bunch of Kuhl because he's just kind of the guy that grades out for me pretty well, just always for some reason. But Brewers are my number 4 stack on FanDuel. They're a team that I'm going to have quite a bit of. Are you getting to any Pirates on DK? Because we're projecting nothing for them.
No, I'm not really getting any Pirates, so...
They're not so bad on FanDuel, a lot better price points, but...
Suter is just so average, so thoroughly average that I don't want to take bats against him. I don't want to play him that much, so...
I like the righties on FanDuel. You can get Josh Harrison, relatively cheap for a leadoff hitter. Marte is only $3,400. I absolutely love that, especially even as a one-off. And then David Freese is only $2,100, so he kind of just makes things work.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Brewers bats though, I'm pretty heavy on. Eric Thames, big time ownership on my end. Christian Yelich. I get a really large amount of Ryan Braun on FanDuel. I get a really large amount of Orlando Arcia, which I'm never happy about, but those minimum salary shortstops, man, sometimes I can't stay away. I think that the Brewers will work as like a 3-man stack really well.
With Yelich, Shaw, Thames?
Yeah.
I like VR too. I was mentioning before you got back, I think. Just, you can steal on Kuhl pretty easily, and VR's got speed.
The only guy that I don't have anything on really is Lorenzo Cain.
That's surprising because he's got speed too.
He's hitting 3rd, which doesn't help.
Yeah.
If you were leading off and Thames was in the 3-hole, I think I would like it. I think I would like both guys more.
I mean, that would be the sharp play to go Kane, Yelich, Thames, or something like that. But
yeah,
who knows? They might change up that lineup. So
yeah. So weird game. I'll be over the field on Brent Suter, but not by much because we're not projecting much for the Pirates bats. Brewers will be like a secondary stack for me.
Okay. They're one of my top stacks, so.
Yeah, I like them. Like, I'll be over the field. Best I could say. I just have trouble getting to like 5 at a time.
Okay.
Mariners and Yankees. Mariners 4-run implied total. Yankees 5.4. It's a 64% chance to win for the Yanks. Felix Hernandez going for Seattle. Let's see how I do here. Jonathan Loaisiga going for New York. Whether I got that right or wrong, I'm just going to pretend like I nailed it. Not projecting a ton of ownership for Loaisiga. Only 4% here on DK. He's a guy that I have a ton of. Do we know if he's going to be on like a pitch count again?
Loaisiga? I'm not sure. How many pitches did he throw in his last start?
I think not a lot.
91.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, he should be good to go. And it was an impressive first start from both the results and like advanced metrics stuff, like 15.4% swinging strike rate, 40% chase rate. He went 5 innings, 6 strikeouts. This is a tougher matchup, but talented pitchers can succeed against the Mariners and strike guys out, as we saw with Domingo Herman last night. So Loaiziga, I don't think that he's quite as talented as Herman just yet, or like doesn't have the strikeout upside, but I think he can be okay here for 8,300. He's pitching at home, and
he's 6,200 on FanDuel.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
He's like $2,500 underpriced.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all.
Okay, so then we need to figure this out. Why is he 5% owned on FanDuel and 4% owned on DK? That's crazy to me.
I'm looking at it right now. I don't know, because there's not like a
4% of him on DK, and we're projecting 4. And we're not projecting any real ownership to the Mariners bats. So I can't imagine why he wouldn't be one of the higher owned guys.
Well, we've got like Junis up there and Gio and Price and Cool. I think he's just getting squeezed out a little bit.
Yeah, like I can't imagine wanting to have 19% Junis and 4% Loaiziga. Like I think that should be flip flopped.
I mean, I like Junis, but I mean, this slate sucks too for pitching. So
yeah, I think Loaiziga is going to be my guy today. He might be in quick hits. That's how much I like him. I just can't imagine not wanting to pay 8,300 for him with everything that's around him. Like Junis against the Rangers, 4.6 total for the Rangers. That's big, man.
I think just the upside is limited here for Loaiziga against this Mariners team. But if he can go 100 pitches and go deep, then you're not that worried about it for 8,300.
I mean, who are we worried about in that lineup?
Haniger, Cruz, Seager.
I'd be more worried if they weren't... Like, Seager's the only one that really scares me because of the lefty-righty. I'm not too worried about Haniger or Cruz. I mean, Cruz is obviously good, but I just don't get the same sort of scariness from him in the righty-righty matchup.
That's understandable. I mean, I don't know. Do you like Yankees bats, though?
Not a ton. Under the field on both of them. FanDuel and DK. They're pretty popular. Like, 3rd highest aggregate ownership on DK. I have them 7th. So
yeah,
I'm lighter on them. I'm surprised at 5.4, but they're just expensive, and 3 of their 4 most expensive guys are outfielders. So
I like them all against Felix. Felix is not the same pitcher on the road in Yankee Stadium here. Over 5 run total, and I mean, there's so many good hitters in this Yankees lineup. So I like Bird probably the best, but Gregorius and Judge and Stanton and Sanchez all have a bunch of Yankees, so they're one of my favorite stacks.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with where I'm ending up. Like 7% aggregate. I don't mind being below the field since it's not like I'm competing with any Felix ownership. So I think I'm happy there.
Yeah.
But I like, Stanton, Sanchez, Judge, Gregorius, Gardner, Bird. 1 through 6, you can combine in any real way. I don't care much about Hicks, Andujar, or Torres. I can't get behind the Torres hitting 9th stuff.
I don't
care if he dongs every time he does it.
They moved him up for like a couple games at a time, and then
I can't figure it out.
Putting him back. I don't know. Yeah, I don't get it. So
I mean, I guess it's working. Like he hits really well in the 9-hole, but can't matter. Is Felix the worst pitcher on the main slate, or is that Andrew Kashner? I don't mean from talent, but I mean from, like, overall.
Man, it would probably. I think Cashner's probably worse.
I think that's everything. Let's move on. Orioles and Nats. Speaking of the devil, 3.7 run implied total for the Orioles, 5.3 for the Nats. Andrew Cashner going for Baltimore. Gio Gonzalez going for the Nats. Only 22% projected ownership for Gio on DK, 13 on FanDuel. I've got like 50% more than that. I'm always generally on Gio, but today's going to be one of those days where I'm on him even more. It's $2,000 cheaper than Charlie Morton. Makes me want to go in that direction. And Andrew Cashner's terrible, so the Nats are, in my opinion, the clear #1 stack. We don't necessarily agree with that from an ownership perspective. Nats are 5th in our projections. I'm well over the field on the Nats. I see them as the clear best stack of the day.
I mean, I love the Nats. You don't have to convince me to play them, and it hasn't really worked out just yet, but such a good lineup. And Cashner, this is just a brutal matchup for him with lefty power and speed at the top and all throughout this lineup. So Turner's probably going to lead off or bat second, I would guess.
I have him 6th.
Yeah, I know, but I would guess they change that up and so he can get on and get a chance to steal. But maybe they don't even care about the steals in this game because they should be able to pound Cashner.
Yeah.
So
I think they're just more worried about bludgeoning Andrew Cashner in 9 plate appearances.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote them up as my primary or my first spotlight hitters and stacks option. They were first with a bullet yesterday. I can't imagine that changing up. I'm surprised that we don't show even more ownership because I think they look so good. Eaton, Soto, Harper, Murphy, Rendon, Turner. I mean, if you want to use Severino as a catcher to try to make that lineup a little bit more unique, I totally get it. I just can't imagine not having a ton of these guys.
Yeah, I'm going to have a bunch of Nats. I think there's like a clear top like 4 stacks for me with Brewers, Nats, Yankees, and, well, outside of Coors, Yankees and Astros. So
Astros?
Yeah, I'll talk about that.
I'm excited. I didn't get any, so we'll have some conversations. Ooh. They're the 2nd lowest ownership for us right now. Nope, 3rd lowest. Only the Rays and Pirates behind them.
I think that's ridiculous.
I think I agree with you. Juan Soto, if he's only 9% owned, hitting in the 2-hole here, good God. I don't care that he's 4,600.
Yeah.
That man might hit a home run clear, like straight to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that guy, we talked about it yesterday, just massive power.
Yeah, that home run was just terrifying.
Yeah.
What do you think about Gio? Where are you landing there?
So, I mean, he's fine. Anyone against Baltimore is fine. I'd play myself against Baltimore. It's tough going with a lefty. The Orioles are obviously better against lefties. They just have so many right-handed bats in that lineup. So, I mean, I don't mind playing Gio when there's like a couple lefties in the lineup just to get him a break from all these righties. But at 10-2, some weather concerns, I think there's enough reason to be off of him for me.
Okay. So you think I'm a little nuts being over the field? 22% is what we're projecting on DK.
If the weather, no, I don't think that's nuts. If the weather looks okay, near lock, then I have no issue with playing Gio. Like, I think he's a fine play.
Okay. Yeah, 10-2 is, man, I feel like maybe not necessarily, has his price been bouncing crazy, or is it just like the slates that he's a part of? Because I feel like the last time we talked about him, he was just like not existent at like 7,500 or something.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like he's like 11K sometimes, and then he ends up being like 8K, and then the next start he's like 9,600. I don't know. I agree though. His price always jumps around.
What did we have? I'm just gonna take a look at him. I want to see what his price has been. I feel like it's all over the map.
88, 98, 84, 10K, 11.9, 11.4, 10.2, 9.4, 8.5. Yeah, he's all over the map.
Is that 8.5 the most recent one before today?
No, 8.8 was the most recent.
Okay, I think that's the one where we were just like, I don't know, he's not involved. We don't have him.
Yeah.
He's been bad. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Last 2 starts, 2.9 DK points and negative 0.5.
Yep, but he's going up against the Orioles, and the Orioles is just automatic, like 20.
Yeah, I'll have a ton of them. 18.2 fantasy point projection on DK, second highest behind Morton. Just gonna be the way I go. Give me the Nats, give me Gio. You know who I don't want you to give me? Rays and Astros. Rays 3-run implied total. Astros 4.8. I'm honestly starting to think that I forgot to include this game when I crunched it, but I guess I didn't because I got Morton. 70% chance to win for the Astros. Nady Eovaldi going for Tampa. Charlie Morton going for Houston. Morton's the chalk guy, projecting 40% ownership on both sites. I think that probably makes perfect sense to everyone. I'll have 30 to 40% of Charlie Morton. I didn't get a single bat in this game outside of maybe 3 one-off lines of Kevin Kiermaier because he's minimum salary and leading off on FanDuel. Talk to me about the Astros, because I don't think we have too much to say about Charlie Morton.
Yeah, Morton, awesome play. He's my number 1 pitcher. It's not even that close. He'll be on the spotlight pitchers. So Eovaldi throws a lot of fastballs, and then like he doesn't really get whiffs on his slider that much, especially not against righties. Like his slider just seems like it's not really that good. So he's going to be throwing a lot of fastballs, and the Astros hit fastballs better than any team in the MLB according to the pitch values per 100 on FanGraphs. They're number 1, right at the top.
Are you looking at 0.92 for them?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure we're looking at the same thing, because I had the same table open when you were talking about it for some weird reason.
Pitch values per 100. So they are
That's weird.
Legitimately the best fastball hitting team in the league, and he doesn't have a really good secondary pitch. So his fastball is his best pitch, and he's just going to be grooving it to them, and I think they're going to smoke him. So I'm all over all the Astros 1 through 9, like every single one of them.
This is quite a take. I don't disagree with you. I think everything that we just said is the same. It's blowing my mind that we're not projecting their ownership to be much higher. It's got to be a price thing.
It's a price and a total thing. Like, they've got a bunch of 5K guys, and they've only got a 4.7 run total and whatever. But if the roof is open, even better. Some wind blowing out to left, 80 degrees, humid. That'd be perfect. But
I think you just talked me into forcing some Astros lines.
Yeah, man. I like it. I like it. I'm going to be heavy on them.
I'm going to force some Astros for some crunches once we get to it to see what that looks like for what the rest of the lines will build out as.
Sure.
I think that'll be fun. Yeah, I got none of them, but that's what happens when it's 5,100, 5,000, 5,100, 4,900, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
I mean, so who would you be looking at? Because I don't think that you can go Astros plus Morton.
I mean, you could go, but it'd have to be kind of a choppy stack. So you could, like, this is a spot where you could go Gio, or you could go like Junis and someone else, or not Bibbins Dirks, but someone else, Loisiga and Junis or something like that, or Price and Junis. I'm sure you can make that happen.
Loisiga and whoever you like more out of the cool Suter.
Yeah, exactly. Suter. You can play cool if you want. Yeah, I would just mix and match with my Astros stacks.
Yeah, I would guess there's no real way to do, unless you're doing Springer, Bregman, Altuve, Correa, Brian McCann,
Uh-huh.
3 cheap dudes, Morton and Bibb Sturks, and even that might be tough. Well, I don't know. We'll find out. I think you've talked me into it. I like the idea of focusing on Eovaldi only throwing fastballs and the Astros nuking fastballs. And I like the idea that they're not all that owned.
Yeah. It'll
You
be fun.
convinced me. Congratulations. That's good. You talked me into it.
I'm excited to win all the money.
We're chopping it now. We'll find out who has the better secondary pitching options when we stack up these Astros.
Yeah.
All right. Red Sox and Twins. Red Sox 4.7 run implied total. Twins 4.1. 56% chance to win for the Sox. David Price going for Boston. Lance Lynn going for the Jakes. So we have David Price at 25%, and I only got 9. That is something that I have some interest in discussing. I'd say that I like Loaisiga more than Price because of Loaisiga's price, which is a really weird way to say that. I'd prefer David Price to have a different last name right now for sake of discussion. I don't know. Talk to me. Like, are you on Price a lot?
I'm not. I don't love it, but the lefties against Twins have been pretty successful. So I just don't have a problem with Price besides his price. On the road here, he's almost 10K. That's not great. It's going to be 80 here. A little bit of wind blowing in is nice for him. But I don't know. 25. I figured he wouldn't be that chalky. So I'm kind of shocked that he's 25%.
What's more shocking to you, that David Price is 25% or that Chad Kuhl is also 25%?
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see the huge appeal here. 25%, it's just a lot. Like, he's 14% on FanDuel. I got 1% of him.
I mean, on FanDuel, I probably wouldn't be playing much of him. I'd probably just be jamming in Morton and Junis or someone like that.
Loaisiga at $2,400 cheaper than him. That's so much, man.
Yeah.
Boston bats look great depending on which site you play on. DK in particular, they're my number 3 stack. We're projecting them to have the 6th most ownership on DraftKings.
I think, yeah. So Lynn 6 or 5 straight starts with at least 6 innings, and I don't think he's going to make it a 6th one. He's walking over 5 righties per 9, 38% hard hit rate to righties, and then the reason he's being saved is because he's striking 27% of them out. But I don't think he's going to be able to do that against the Red Sox here. So I like Betts and Bogarts and JD and even Benintendi. Those top 5 make for a nice stack against Lynn. Just really expensive.
Yeah. Betts, Benintendi, Bogarts, Martinez, Moreland, Nunez, Vasquez, all double-digit ownership for me. I'm actually over the field on DraftKings. I'm happy with where I am. But I think that I want to try to get to a little bit more Twins if I'm going to be... Although I guess if I'm already fading Price, there's no need to really double down on that.
Right.
Any Twins bats that you like? Brian Dozier grading out as a very nice, well, as a popular one-off option.
No, I don't really like the Twins bats. That's why I'm kind of tempted to play Price. Honestly, I don't like Twins much at all.
Yeah, I mean, we're projecting almost no ownership to them. They're 10th overall. Most of that is just driven by Dozier. Projecting 12% for him. And I get it. 3,600 for a second base option on a shorter slate. Fits. Gets the lefty matchup. I can see it.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to have a lot of bats to talk about now. You ready?
Yeah.
Rangers and Royals. Rangers 4.6 run implied total. Royals 4.9. It's a 52% chance to win for the Royals. Austin Bibbins-Dirks going for Texas. Jacob Junis going for Kansas City. I am well overweight on Bibbins-Dirks. I am well underweight on Jake Junis. I saw the reaction to my Bibbins-Dirks comment. What do you got for me?
I don't know. He just doesn't miss any bats, and Kansas City doesn't let you miss bats. So I just don't see any sort of upside for Bibbins-Dirks, besides if he can go like 5 innings here and get like 2 strikeouts. But 82 degrees, wind blowing out to right, and Moustakas probably going yard. Alex Gordon is going to hit the ball hard. I don't know. I don't see it with Bibbins-Dirks to start. I'm off him.
He's got 11 Ks in 11 innings.
Starting, you mean, or
yeah? He's
just this year?
He's only pitched 2 games this year.
Yeah.
And 11-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you squint, those are like better results than a $4,000 pitcher puts up.
Right, so he's 4K, so you can make the case for any 4K pitcher.
Yeah, but like
right,
he's been good at 4K. Like 5 Ks in 4 2/3. Like you'd like him to throw longer. 6 Ks in 6 1/3. Like that's really good performance for a 4K guy.
Yeah, if he could do what he did against Kansas City on the 24th of May, then you're thrilled. And he gave up 4 earned, but he went 6 innings, struck out 6 guys. You need double-digit points from him probably, and that's about it. So I get the play for 4K, but it's just I don't believe in him as a pitcher.
12% ownership we're projecting on DK. I'll be over that, I would expect.
No, I don't think you're done for it. What about Junis?
We're projecting 19. I only got 9, and I basically didn't get him at all on FanDuel. I'll happily have a lot of Rangers on the opposite side of Junis, but like he's good, he's fine. I'm just kind of nervous about the implied totals in this game.
Yeah, Junis is super boomer bust here for me, so I'm either stacking Rangers or trying to avoid them entirely, lineup by lineup. So I think he's either going to be able to miss a bunch of bats and he's just going to have it and go deep and strike guys out, or he's going to, like, you're going to see why he's got those hard contact numbers and he's just going to get pummeled. And it's so much tougher to target against Texas with Anderson Beltre back. So that's what's giving me pause here with Junis, but I do like him. And then I also see the other side of it, like I said, with the Rangers bats. So no strong take either way, but definitely high upside for both sides.
So Royals are the top owned stack on DK. Rangers are 4th. I have Rangers 5th, so I'm right there with the field. From the Texas side, I have the Royals as tied for 1st on DK with the Nats. So for me, it's all bats here. And then
okay.
I hope for the best on Austin Bibbins-Dirks. If the Royals are going to be the chalkiest stack on DraftKings, that sort of makes me a little bit more interested in having some Dirks just in case that Royal stack blows up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just happy he's 4,000 because I probably wouldn't play him at like 4,800.
Yeah, exactly.
Any bats that stand out very specifically to you?
Whit Merrifield.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not Whit Merrifield. So I thought it was Mendez yesterday. So I have Merrifield written down, but I think it would be Moustakas and Salvador Perez. Those would be my 2 favorites.
Yeah, those first 4 for me as the stack for the Royals just look really, really good. Yeah. And then I have, as usual, I have a lot of Odor on FanDuel at 2,400. It's just a good game for offense. That's for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Speaking of good games for offense, final game of the main slate, Mets and Rockies. Mets 5.8 run implied total. Rockies 5.7. Essentially a 50-50 game. Seth Lugo going for New York. Chad Bettis going for Colorado. I assume we're not looking at pitching here?
No, I can't. Well, definitely not with Bettis. And then Lugo on the road and Coors. He grades out as a fine pitcher to me, but it is Coors, and I don't think I can do it here.
Agreed. Mets, second most ownership for a hitting squad today. Rockies only 7th, mostly due to their price point. I have the Mets as my third best stack on FanDuel, second best on DK. I think they look really good, 1 to 7 in particular. Where are you landing on the Mets?
I love them. So they're probably the top stack, and then sort of break up the slate in Coors and non-Coors. But they're awesome. All these lefties against Bettis. He's given up 5 earned runs in each of his last 4 starts. Just not good against either hand. And I mean, just the question is, who's your favorite Met? Like, who are your favorites? Because mine's Nimmo and Asdrubal. Like, it's kind of how the order goes, 1 to 4 at least.
To me, Conforto is the best option of the Mets.
Yeah, don't hate it.
I love the first 4: Nimmo, Cabrera, Conforto, Frazier. I like Mesoraco as a catcher option. I like Wilmer Flores way more than I ever should, but yeah, Conforto's the dude for me. 4,800 on DK, nice price. I'm doubled up on that ownership. I really like the Mets here. Chad Bettis is not very good.
Yep, totally agree.
Rockies bats, like, you kind of just get to it when you can. I think Cargo looks good. I like Blackman. You know, LeMahieu and Arenado are always solid options. They're just really expensive, so they're difficult to fit in. I'm over the field on them right now, and I think I'm okay with that. Need to do a little bit more digging, but it's a Coors game with a monstrous implied total. Both of these teams are well over the Yankees 5.4, so...
Yeah, I think it's just like the main guys for me, Blackman, Arenado, Cargo, but I'm not going crazy on them against Lugo. Like I said, I kind of believe in Lugo a little bit, so I'll be very much higher on the Mets stack than the Rockies.
Same. I'm with
crunches.
Yeah, let's look at crunches. Give me 2.
Morton and boy, I don't know who. Bivens Dirks. Let's try that.
I'm excited now. All right, so how about a 5-man Nats stack with Moreland, Nunez, and JD Martinez from Boston?
Nice.
Or it looks like it's a lot of Nats in Boston.
Nats Brewers, that's nice.
Yeah, Dames Yelich Braun with Eaton Turner, Rendon, Murphy, Severino. That's got to be a lineup you like.
Yeah.
So when I have Bibbins Dirks, I get a top line of 107. Overall top line 111. Yeah, so I don't totally hate having him. It's not as big of a drop-off as I expected.
Yeah, it's not terrible. 4K pitcher on this slate where there's a ton of bats and not good pitching, just out of necessity to fill that second pitcher spot. And you can fit in Morton.
All right, let's do a quick crunch where I use the Astros as the main 5-man stack. I don't know if this is going to work when I click this, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure it won't, because I'm really terrible at ever thinking about this. Yeah, you can't do that. So, advanced options. Let's just remove that stack. Will that work? Will. All right, we got 9 lines. That'll be fine. It really falls off with getting it to fit. Gotta almost be Morton and Chad Kuhl or Suter. McCann, Gurriel, Altuve, Reddick, Springer with some Royals. Moustakas, Alcides, Escobar, your favorite shortstop in the world. Alex Gordon.
Yeah.
I don't.
You
think
could play
can
around with the starting pitching, yeah. So you probably have to sacrifice Morton.
Yeah, for sure.
So that kind of sucks, but.
Oh man, that's crazy. It's really hard. Let's see. If you go low, Isiga and Cool. It's just really hard to get any. Well, Harper, Soto, and Moustakas. Yeah. I think that one makes it work if you want to go away from Morton.
Yeah, that's what I'll have to do is go with some mid price pitchers and hope Morton isn't the GOAT tonight.
I think I probably like this one more. 3-man Moustakas, Gordon, Merrifield. Get a little bit different look from the Astros side.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Gonna be a weird one. All right, anybody, get some questions in. You got 2 minutes. Otherwise, we are getting the hell out of here. Tons of lineups in already for the early slate. That pops off in, what, 2 hours? So,
yeah.
Exciting.
I haven't done the spotlight pitchers yet, so I'm gonna have to.
Jake's slacking. Hasn't done the spotlight pitchers yet.
I was out with the bosses last night.
That's true.
That's why.
Live stream tonight at 6. Myself and Chris Spags. This will be my last live stream until next Friday.
Yeah, I got to ask you. So we'll talk about it once we get off. But,
okay.
Yeah. Oh, our website's down right now.
Of course it is.
Great.
All right, everybody, that is it. We're going to get out of here. Like and subscribe. Follow all of our junk. Read Spotlight Hitters, Pitchers, Stacks. Check out Quick Hits later this afternoon. Good luck in the early slate. Good luck in the night slate. Come see myself and Chris. Jake, you got anything else you want to add?
No, good luck. Tune into the live stream tonight.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Adios, everybody. Bye-bye.